Welcome back to Open Line. Talking with elder law attorney Tim Takus. Your chance to call in with questions is if, let's say, you're a caregiver. We have several people on the line. Let's go to Julie. Hello, Julie.
Hello.
Hi, go right ahead. What's your question?
Well, my situation is kind of complicated. My mom is 87. She's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Her brother is power of attorney. I have a brother out of town. Can he give his power of attorney to my brother? And also, do I have a say as being a child?
Okay,
care?
all right, so that's the initially complex subject, I think, from Julie.
Right.
She says that her mother has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and she's named her, I guess, Julie's uncle. Is that right? Is that what you gather?
Or was it the brother? Is it your brother?
The brother of my mother.
Yeah, so
okay.
your uncle. Okay,
your
good.
Uncle, yeah,
you're right.
So her uncle's power of attorney for her mom. You know, now what has to happen, or what I'm hearing is that if Julie's going to be the one that's going to be making decisions for her mom or assisting, then her mother needs to make another power of attorney. So she makes another power of attorney, naming Julie as the power of attorney. She can't. Her uncle can't, or any other person can't just hand it off to somebody else.
Right.
The document has to say, okay, like for instance, maybe Julie's mom had made a power of attorney that says, well, if my brother John can't do it, then there's a next person in line, and that's what we recommend to people. Is you do 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, however many, so you can have successors. But in the absence of that, her mom needs to make another one. And I want to say now, while we have a chance to talk about this part, is that merely because there is a diagnosis of dementia or Alzheimer's disease does not mean that Julie's mom is unable to make a new power of attorney.
Okay.
I mean, that is a common, maybe it's less of a misapprehension than it used to be, but I mean, I know that there's still lawyers out there, because I've seen where people wind up in a conservatorship or some other proceeding like that, which basically takes control out of the family and into the judge's hands, merely because there is a diagnosis. So I think for Julie's benefit, is that it sounds like they need to have a family meeting and talk about how are we going to take care of mom.
And are these powers of attorney, are they complicated? Do they lead sometimes to family conflict?
Well, they can. The important thing is that they should be done in such a way that they take into account what the situation the person's in. And what I mean by that is that what powers do they put in there? In other words, maybe it's going to be an important power for Julie's mom to be able to create a trust, to which she needs to put her assets into. Well, if the document doesn't allow for that, the power of attorney, then it's not authorized. I mean, so there, or maybe to pay caregivers or something else, then that can be a problem as well. So it needs to be tailored to, not what we would call an off-the-shelf, power of attorney.
And this is an important part of getting ready. As you're caring for an older, an aging parent or brother or sister, this is something you really need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Is who's going to be in charge.
Who's going to be in charge? Are they the right person? It doesn't necessarily mean the oldest child, because sometimes that ain't the right person. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not maybe it's not a family member at all, although usually it is. But that's really the thing is it's important to know, okay, who's going to be the right person? Can the family now pull together if it's, because caregiving is a job, and oftentimes it's a common effort, because I think Julie just mentioned, not only does she have herself, but I think she has her own brother, I think as well as she has her uncle. And are all of those people going to be involved in taking care of Julie's mom? So they need to have that conversation.
Julie, thank you for that question. Let's go to Kathy. Hello, Kathy.
Yes.
Hi, go right ahead.
Yes, I just had a question like how you can safeguard like your parents' property or a home if they go into a nursing home, and Because I've heard about nursing homes wanting them to sign over all your property and all to pay the bill, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Protecting your property.
Yeah. So it's kind of like and that's another sort of like maybe a common misconception about what happens when people go into a nursing home. A nursing home is like an expensive hotel. All right, they charge, a nursing home, actually probably it's less than what a like an expensive hotel might charge $300 or $400 a night. In the really expensive ones, of course, but a nursing home will charge a daily rate of say $200, $250 a day. And as long as you pay that bill, then they will let you stay there. You go in and they'll say, okay, it's $7,500 a month. Write us a check for the first month. And as long as you're here, as long as you pay the bill, you can stay here. But you are not required to sign over anything. You are, if you need to qualify or apply for Medicaid to pay for it, you have that opportunity to do so, or you may choose not to. You can pay privately. But the government or the nursing home doesn't require you to sign over anything in order to get nursing home care.
So when I hear those prices, how often is someone kicked out of a nursing home? They can't pay. They run out of money.
It very seldom happens because, for one, they run out of money and then they go to the state Medicaid program, and the state Medicaid program says, okay, you qualify.
Right. Because you have no money.
You have no money. And if you don't need nursing home care, then you shouldn't be there, because the state Medicaid program isn't going to pay for your nursing home care, if you don't need it. And if you're in a nursing home and the nursing home is keeping you there because the only reason why you'd want to stay there is because you wanted to, but most people don't want to if they have another option. I want out of here. So the nursing home doesn't want to keep you if you don't need care there. And second is certainly they don't want you to run out of money, and then they have to apply for Medicaid for you, or if you can't qualify for Medicaid, they are required to try to find a place. They can discharge you from the nursing home, but they have to discharge you to a safe and secure place.
Okay.
So there are rules they have obligations to you if you become a resident there. They can't just say, well, you're out of here, you're not paying, or you can't pay. So there are limitations on that as well.
They don't kick you out.
Right.
Can you run up a big bill that somebody needs to pay when you leave, when you die? And what do we do?
And if you don't have any money, then
there's nothing
the nursing home can do. So unless you have an estate, when you die owning money or property, then the nursing home they're a creditor just like anybody else. They would come and say, okay, I'll file a claim against your estate because you didn't pay for the last 2 months of your life, and so you owe us $15,000, and just like you owe Visa or MasterCard, you owe the nursing home. That's the way that works. Now, does it happen very often? I don't know. That's not my business. My business is, if my clients are in a nursing home, my business is to make sure they get paid, the nursing home, because they're providing an essential service to my clients.
Because your client needs it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Now, maybe if the state Medicaid program will cover that cost, what do we need to do to help, get the Medicaid program to cover that cost? If my client qualifies for it. If my client does not need nursing home care, then we're looking for something else for them.
Well, Julie, I see you're still there. Now, do you have any other follow-up to that? Does that answer your question?
Well, I think pretty much. I just heard about somebody having them sign over their property. Either say you got to leave or sign your property, and so they just take their sick person home.
Yeah.
And so.
Right.
I have heard rumors about that, but I have never. No one has ever walked into my office and proved to me that they had to do that. I mean, I'd be glad to know whether that is, if somebody has gotten a letter from a nursing home or some statement or whatever it is that they can prove, where they were told that, in order for you to stay here, you need to do this, because that's a violation.
They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to make you sign over everything.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, that's
Yeah.
important to know. So there are rumors, but it shouldn't be happening.
Right.
All right.
Right. You know, and you call the ombudsman, you call the state of Tennessee, you call Medicare, Medicaid, whatever it is, you have a right to complain about that because that's wrong.
All right, we're going to take a break. If you're on the line, hold on. If you want to call in, a few numbers, a few lines left. There is the number, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break, come back right after this.